The wind howled around the crumbling stone monastery, gnawing at its ancient bones. Inside, Master Ji, wrinkled and stoic as a mountain pine, meditated in the flickering candlelight. A sudden cacophony of squawks shattered the stillness. Ji opened his eyes, amusement twinkling behind his cataracts, to find a most peculiar crow perched on his windowsill. This was no sleek avian ambassador. This crow was a feathered paradox, one wing crumpled, plumage mottled like mud, and a beak askew like a crooked smile. The creature held a twig in its beak, offering it with a hopeful tilt of its head. Ji chuckled, a low rumble that vibrated through the dusty floorboards. "Well met, little one," he rasped, reaching out a gnarled hand. "Is that a gift for me, then?" The crow, christened Fang for the gap-toothed fierceness of its squawk, hopped tentatively onto Ji's finger, dropping the twig. It was no ordinary twig, but a delicate cherry blossom, still clinging to a blush of pink. "Ah, a poet, are we?" Ji smiled, admiring the fragile bloom. "And an ugly one at that," he added, his voice devoid of malice. Fang tilted its head, eyeing Ji with what could have been amusement. It let out a squawk that, to Ji's surprise, seemed to articulate, "Beauty is as beauty perceives, old monk." Ji's laughter echoed through the cavernous hall. "You talk, you rascal?" Well, that's a first for a crow. From that day, Fang became Ji's inseparable companion. He perched on his shoulder during meditations, his raspy croaks blending with the mantra, their contrasting rhythms, a strange harmony. Fang, despite his ungainly appearance, had a keen mind and a sharp wit. He mimicked the students' clumsy calligraphy, drawing crooked characters that somehow captured the essence of their struggles. He learned to play a bamboo flute, his one-winged form swaying precariously as he produced music that was, surprisingly, both melancholic and joyful. One day, a group of young monks, fresh-faced and brimming with piety, visited the monastery. They scoffed at Fang, whispers of unbecoming, omen, and bad luck swirling around them. Fang, undeterred, hopped into their midst, dropping a feather at each monk's feet. Each feather was marked with an intricate pattern, different for each monk, like tiny tapestries woven from sunlight and shadow. "What are these?" one monk asked, bewildered. Fang squawked, "Look closer, young ones. See the beauty in the unexpected, the wisdom in imperfection." The monks bent down, examining the feathers, their faces softening as they traced the delicate patterns. One, the most vocal critic, held his feather up to the light, a tear glistening in his eye. "It's a map," he whispered, "a map of my heart." From then on, Fang became a teacher. He led the monks on scavenger hunts, not for jewels or gold, but for discarded treasures. A rusty nail transformed into a tiny sculpture, a cracked shard of pottery bearing the ghost of a flower. He taught them to listen to the wind, to read the stories it shed in the bark of trees, to find beauty in the broken and discarded. Ji, watching his unlikely student blossom, knew Fang had a bigger purpose than simply amusing an old monk. He was a mirror, reflecting not just the world's beauty, but the hidden beauty within each of them. One moonlit night, Fang perched on Ji's bed, his single wing casting long shadows. "Thank you for seeing me, old friend," he rasped, his voice laced with unshed tears. Ji squeezed Fang's tiny claw. "It is you who opened our eyes, little one. You've reminded us that true beauty lies not in flawless feathers, but in the courage to fly, even with one wing." The next morning, Fang was gone. A single perfect cherry blossom lay on Ji's palm, a farewell etched in its delicate petals. Yet, his absence wasn't an emptiness, but a quiet hum of energy, a reminder that the lessons learned, the beauty revealed, would forever linger in the hearts of the monastery. Fang, the ugly crow, may have flown away, but his message remained. He taught them that beauty is not defined by the world, but by the lens through which we see it. He showed them that strength lies not in perfection, but in embracing our imperfections, in daring to take flight even with one wing. And in that simple truth, 1,000 unexpected blossoms bloomed in the souls of the monks, proving that even the most unlikely teacher can offer the most profound lessons.